everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And for the newbies, an extra hello to you. My name is Saffron, and I'm a 20-year-old content creator on this little side of YouTube. And also, thank you for joining this video, because if you even had a smidge, just a little inkling that you wanted to start journaling, then this is the video for you. Very basic, very 101 level, so of course I don't have all the answers, and that is why I will be providing some resources down below. So grab your notes and let's get to it. Let me define journaling, because a lot of people don't know what it is. And it's easy to define something so that way the learning process is easier. So as defined by the Collins Dictionary, journaling is the practice of keeping a journal or a diary, and keep this in mind for later on, to express and record one's thoughts. And this is very beneficial. There's evidence and there's studies to back it up. Again, those links are down below. But just to put a few out there, it reduces anxiety and overthinking. It creates awareness and it boosts confidence. Again, amazing, amazing benefits. Now, don't all those benefits sound good? Especially when you found out there's not one way to journal. Yes, there's not one way to journal. It's not a one-size-fits-all. If you hate writing, you can do audio, you can do video. If you want to stick to writing, that's cool, and it doesn't have to be to one specific topic. You can start a journal about your fitness journey, about you having your first child, about a road trip. Anything that you want to record down, you can go ahead and do it. And now that we got that settled, let's get something else settled, and that's the difference between a journal and a diary. Remember what I mentioned earlier about keeping that in mind? They're not the same. In fact, one thing just separates the two, and it's the fact that when you write in a diary, you're being chronological about it. So you're putting the dates and stuff on top, but with journaling, you're not doing that at all. You're just writing stuff as it happens. You're not being so particular about it, is what I'm trying to say. Formulating routine is always good. Start with a head-to-toe evaluation, aka self-reflection. When I first started, I did just 10 minutes on the floor. I did a head-to-toe evaluation, as I've said, and I just jotted down any relevant thoughts. What I ate, who I hung out with, it doesn't matter. If it's relevant to you, go ahead and write it down. So with all those notes written down, it's jumbled up, so you want to organize it. And in my opinion, you should organize it into these categories, which I'm going to list off right now. What I've done, who I've been with, where I've been, how you feel, and here's an optional one, new observations. Because crazy thing is that when you start to gain more awareness, you start to become more mindful to the world around you, and a lot of things can open up when you open up your eyes and you can see that world through a different spectacle. Plus, organizing these thoughts will make the next step easy, which is plotting out how you want your journal to be. And I'm just referring to it as bullet journaling. I know that a lot of people don't want to take that extra step, and that's perfectly fine. I like to do it. And once you determine all those assets, you want to get up and then go to a place where you can actually write. And I highly, highly, highly suggest you do this in a relatively quiet space. You don't want to be like around construction when you want to do this. You want to be able to think, and you want to be able to have your thoughts as clear as possible. So a couple of places I recommend is a coffee shop, a museum, a park. Maybe not the best idea. It depends on who's there at the park, and just any dedicated space for creativity. And believe me, they're out there. Here are a few of my other prompts, just to give you an idea of how I plot it out. And a couple of things that I do different is that I add a quote, I add those boxes as I've said, and every once in a while I'll research prompts, and you can do that. I like to research prompts off of Pinterest because there's a lot of manifestation content on Pinterest. In fact, it shouldn't really be a surprise. That's the main place where manifestation content would go. Okay, we're about halfway through the video, but before we end it off, I just want to give just a mini story about my journey with journaling, and believe me, it's pretty interesting and kind of convoluted now that I think about it. But I started out just writing stories. Like, I was a big storyteller when I was younger, and one of my great uncles, they just gave me this book like, hey Saffron, just go ahead and write your stories. And then it just changed into something else because I grew older, being a young woman, puberty, all that other stuff. I wanted to express my emotions and my feelings of my day-to-day life. And I thought, well, I have this book in front of me. I've been writing stories. Why don't I just write down my thoughts? And from there, it took off. Now here we are at 20 years old, started at age 7, so 10 plus years of documenting my thoughts into 3 different books. One of them got lost, and the other 2 I still have, although the first one, I kind of just ripped the pages out because I wanted to keep it, and it was just a ratty book anyway. But anyway, it's still with me on that bookshelf, and it's so beautiful, guys, because I get to look at my journey of who I was back then to who I am now, and I get to see different phases in my life, from a young kid from 7 to 10 to a tween to a teen to now being a young adult. And as long as I keep recording my thoughts in that diary and now in this manifest journal, I get to see a lot of progress and I get to grow. And I think that's just the whole point of keeping a journal, guys. Not only for those amazing benefits, but it's to see progression, because all of us want to progress, and whether you like it or not, you're going to progress anyway, because no one stays the same. But once you want to do it on your own accord and not by just living life without really thinking about it and self-reflecting, especially when you get to read about that growth from a first-hand account from your own writing because you wrote it, and not from anybody else telling you. I don't know. It's something to think about. But overall, journaling is very, very, very beneficial, guys. And if you start because of this video, despite me barely knowing ish, then I know that I did something well and that I've probably given some good advice. And with that, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications so you will be notified of my next video.